Hi, welcome to Healthy Connections. I'm your host, Tobias Pugsley, and it is Diabetes Month. And with me today is going to be Jodi Bodenhamer telling us about all the great things going on over at the hospital to celebrate Diabetes Month. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Healthy Connections. Again, I'm your host, Tobias Pugsley, and it is World Diabetes Month. With me, Jodi Bodenhamer. Jodi, what's going on this month?
Well, we have such a great support and wonderful community outreach over at the Reppell Diabetes Center, along with all the community support houses. So I'm very, very blessed to be able to work in that avenue of the hospital. But as a nurse and as your diabetes nurse, I'm also taking just a little bit of time in November to make sure that we are getting out not only the information that our patients need, but also providing the services and the community outreach as well. And so we use November as Diabetes Awareness Month to just make sure that everybody knows we have a full service of diabetes education at the Reppell House. And that's certainly for anybody with the diagnosis of diabetes. We also welcome and encourage them to bring a family support member as well to our classes. So we'll have those going on throughout the month of November. And those classes usually run for about 2 hours each. And I think that's a really good way for people who are newly diagnosed with diabetes to find out not only more information about the disease, but what to do. And so it becomes less overwhelming and more manageable as the classes go on. And I love to see patients coming in and getting the help that they need, but also I call them the light bulb moments when whatever either myself or Miss Jan, our dietitian, is teaching about, people begin to understand and have a knowledge of how to apply that to their everyday. And I think that's so important to them, and not just us telling them, okay, this is what you need to do or this is what you should do, but them having a full understanding of their disease, what the management's going to look like for them, for that individual patient.
It's probably nice to have that support group and those people around you.
It is.
They really make things easier. So I'm sitting at home on a Tuesday and I'm newly diagnosed, and I think I want to try to attend one of these events. Where do I go to get this information?
Sure, and that's the thing that is so important to understand and get more knowledge about that as well. Whenever that diagnosis comes, oftentimes the doctor just goes ahead and sends a referral over to our center. So we may be even calling you before you even get home. But if you didn't get a referral or somebody was just newly diagnosed or new to the area and they didn't know about the Reppell Diabetes Center, we certainly will take phone calls or drop-ins. That's another great thing about our clinic is all of the community support houses are open to the public. And so you can walk in, you can come by, or you can call us and we can start that process for you, either getting the referral from the doctor's office or whatever the services that you might need, getting you signed up for the support group or whatever the need and the interest is. And for those of you that don't know, our community support houses, I was just talking this over with another group this morning. There are a lot of people that don't realize that our little houses across the parking lot from the ER are actually part of the hospital. And so we encourage everybody to come by and pick up some information if they need it. We also have the free glucometers there. Those are the little machines that you use to check your blood sugars. And some people come by and they don't even know that they need to be checking, and so we can certainly help get them set up and understand more about that as well. And the big thing and the big issue, I think, that people are so overwhelmed at first and they don't understand or they don't know what support there is out there. So give us a call or come by, and our phone number is 508-1765, and I am usually in the office every day of the week. So if I'm not available to take a call, you can get a phone call back from a nurse, usually within 24 hours. And I think that's very important too. Or the dietitian, Miss Jan is such a wonderful asset to be able to have her there for those food questions, the nutrition, and she does a great job with that. And I'm just so thankful that she and I get to work together on this.
Sounds like just a wealth of resources.
Well, we try, and then certainly, the Maruck House helps us out a lot. A lot of people may not know that they do a lot with Medicare and helping folks that are transitioning sort of into that period. And that's been, in the past, been the primary dynamic or primary group of folks that do get that diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. And now we're seeing more and more the age group of our diagnosis moving up further and further and further. And now the estimated average is around 20 years old. We all start increasing our risk factors for diabetes. And so we just want to make sure that everybody understands, we cover all ages and all types of diabetes as well. And if there's a resource that I know of that's available, I'll certainly make sure that our patients get over to the other community houses and use those resources too.
That's incredible. One of the things that sticks out in my mind specifically is how you all are starting to educate some of these patients as far as even how they prep their meals. I saw something about a Thanksgiving meal preparation classes,
Yes.
I guess, is what?
We did. We just finished up our series of holiday cooking classes, and backed by a popular demand this year, we did some more healthy cooking classes. But I think what becomes overwhelming, especially this time of year, is we associate so many of our gatherings with food, and there's always a lot of snacks and items, and then meals, and then people gathering for other things. And so I think it becomes, for anybody with any kind of dietary restriction, not just diabetes, but we have folks on the cardiac diets, and we have folks on low sodium and blood pressure diets, and then we have cholesterol issues. And so that becomes like a circus juggling, 3 or 4 different things all at once. And what we tried to do was just take some good information for all different types of health-related meal planning and put those together on what to do with leftovers. A lot of people struggle with that. They don't want to necessarily eat too much, but then they don't know what to do with the food that's left. And so we just did a great little cookbook and some cooking demonstrations with some of those recipes that we were able to provide. And again, Miss Jan, I can't take credit. She does all of our nutritional aspects of our education. But we had such a great time with that, because I know I struggle at the holidays. I know most people struggle at the holidays, trying to maintain a good level and amount of intake as far as their nutrition goes. And it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody.
No.
So it's a great resource that we have. We still have some of those cookbooks left. Again, if anybody would like to stop by and pick up a copy, that's just a great example of some of the types of information we offer. We keep resource books, we keep meal prep and guiding, like shopping lists and snack items and things like that, specifically for diabetes. But also, Jan keeps some other things on hand that are pretty common as well. Like I said, the low cholesterol and the low sodium diets, because I know a lot of people struggle and try to follow certain restrictions, as per recommended by their doctor.
Oh, yeah.
So,
trying to stay in that regimen whenever it's prescribed. And I did get the opportunity to try one of the pumpkin.
Oh yeah,
that had the what was underneath it, the pastry.
It
part?
was actually just a little pastry cup, yeah, and then there was some pumpkin filling inside of that was homemade, and very low calorie, very low carbohydrate, obviously low sodium, and easy to do. That's the thing. If we get, I think, too overwhelmed with trying to be healthy, well, then we become, cooking becomes less of a fun thing for those of us that like to cook, and more of a scary and burdensome type of a task. And so that was really fun for me, because Miss Jan got to make up all of the stuff, and then I was over there helping her fill the little cups with all the little goodies, and they just turned out. And so many different things that we can do with traditional recipes, like pumpkin pie. Obviously lots of sugar, lots of carbs with the crusts and the different things, and just to have a couple of little bites of those things just is enough for to satisfy that craving, or that I think it's this time of year we start thinking about pumpkin. It's it's there, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that everybody feels not only like they're satisfied with what they're getting, but also like they're a part of the group. And you mentioned that earlier, that group support. You know, when we have our group classes at the Diabetes Center, one of the things that we find when we get a group of 8 or 10 people together that have the same diagnosis is not everybody is going to be the same, but we are going to see that everybody's going to have some common ground, and that will help not only with their coping skills, but also with the, you know, following what they need to be doing for themselves. And it's tough, and our patients already have a tough enough time, so I love that, and I love that Miss Jan always includes all of those, you know, traditional things that we look forward to this time of year.
Absolutely, and I guess that's the biggest point is after trying one of these recipes, I almost think I'd go for it over the pumpkin pie. It was that good. And that's the thing, these are things that you can bring to some of these events that, you know, or
Sure.
People will be wowed that not only does it taste delicious, but it's also good for you.
It's good for you.
So we'll be right back here in just a minute to talk specifically about World Diabetes Day. So stay tuned. Welcome back to Healthy Connections. Jodi, we've been talking a lot about World Diabetes Month. Now, tell me, there's a World Diabetes Day?
Yes.
You got some festivities planned?
Yes, we do. Along with our regular scheduled classes, which we were talking about earlier, and our support groups and things that go on throughout the year, obviously, at the Reppell House. In November, we really take time to focus on and celebrate diabetes management. And that's something that I think a lot of our patients don't get a good old encouraging way to go sometimes. And I take that very seriously. I think that's such a huge part of their not only following what they are recommended to do, but continuing to maintain that throughout. Some patients have diabetes for years and years and years of their life. And so we use a program from the World Diabetes Day Foundation, and each year we take a new perspective on diabetes education. This year's program is actually called Eyes on Diabetes, which I love because I feel like vision and eyesight is one thing that, you know, we don't necessarily cover or think about until we start having problems or issues. And so it's very important for folks to know how diabetes affects different aspects of their health. And with that initiative and with that promo from World Diabetes Day, the Eyes on Diabetes program just fell into place for us and made so much sense. We have such great support here in Mountain Home with our optometrists and ophthalmologist offices. Lots of screenings offered, obviously. And we actually have Dr. McFall coming to our program to talk about eye and diabetes eye health as well. And so I'm very excited about that. I'm excited to learn more about that because that's an area that as a nurse I don't often get to see or learn as much about as far as diabetes management goes. So how do we take care of our eyes, and what are the things that we need to do in order to maintain good vision throughout and not have any problems due to diabetes or issues because of that, you know. And they look at retinopathy a lot of times, which is an issue that's very common, but I know there are some other common eye problems, glaucoma, and some of the other things that can be affected by diabetes as well. So I'm really excited to hear what Dr. McFall has to say.
Wow. Now tell us a little bit about Dr. McFall. Where does he come from?
She's one of our ophthalmologist from Ozark Eye Center right here in Mountain Home. And so what we always try to do is make sure and include our local physicians and any offices and services in the area that could, you know, obviously provide that support without our patients having to drive. And I think that's one of the things that our elderly folks sometimes have issues with is not only finding a ride or getting to a doctor's appointment, but then making a long trip or having to go back and forth. And so I love that we have all of the different resources right here in Mountain Home. And so I like to showcase them. I like to highlight and brag on them a little bit. And you know, we've certainly done different types of programs in the past about feet and foot care. And I know we have a couple of great podiatrists in the area, and I think they're actually going to come and be at the program as well and hand out information. So it's almost like a little miniature health fair just for diabetes patients.
Wow.
We'll have some vendors, not just local, but also some national vendors will be available that day to talk about insulin and insulin pumps and products. And then I think the biggest thing that I'm really excited about is our TrialNet type 1 diabetes testing as well. And so with that, we will actually have patients who have diabetes, who have type 1, being able to screen and look at and tell their family members, are you at risk for developing type 1 diabetes? And if so, then how can we help, and what can we do to possibly provide some prevention of that? And right now there's no cure for either type 1 or type 2 diabetes, but the initiative is out there for both preventative education and preventative trials for both different types of diabetes. And that's just, I'm just so excited. I can't believe that they've chosen Mountain Home to be a part of their screening processes. And so trialnetdiabetes.org is if anybody needs to find out more information about that, but it is a free screening process that we will be offering on and at our World Diabetes Day program.
Wow, so they should bring their family members with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll have all kinds of different events going on. This is, again, World Diabetes Day, Monday, November the 14th, coming up quick.
Right around the corner.
So we're getting really excited and prepared for that, and we still have places available and spots available. We're going to be, celebrating all day. Basically, it's 10 to 5, but people can come and go, and we'll have events and speakers in the morning, and then we'll have other things in the afternoon as well. And so it's an all-day come and go as you please type of event, and we will have a luncheon there for our patients that are available during the day. I know a lot of the kids and a lot of their family members will be working, so we'll have some after-school activities in the afternoon and the early evening for them as well.
Oh, wow. What are you planning on doing for the after-school stuff?
Oh, we've got some great snacks and some snack ideas for the kiddos, and then we'll have a special guest speaker. I have a patient who's been living with type 1 diabetes for 40 plus years, and so that is just a huge testament to good, strong motivation, taking care of yourself. And Mr. Mark Shaner is going to be available, and he's going to give us a little insight on his life with diabetes for the last years, as he says. But he was one of those folks diagnosed and told, that he had a very short prognosis and would not probably live to be 50. And when we celebrated his 50th birthday a few years ago, let me tell you, did we really celebrate, because it was one of those moments, and he said, I'll never forget that, being told that at such a young age, and now here I am, and healthy and fit and living well and living life to the fullest. So
wow, that's absolutely incredible.
I know, I'm so blessed to be able to do what I do. So
that's great. Well, tell us a little bit about how these things are possible. Who funds these houses?
We have a lot of community support, and that's one of the things, again, not only do the hospital in general looks for ways to support our community, provide the services that are needed to our very special community here in Mountain Home and our surrounding counties, but also the counties and the communities themselves support the hospital in that effort. And it's a great partnership, I think. The Hospital Foundation is the entity that sort of takes care of all of our needs for all of the community support houses, and then some. I know they're providing this year alone a renovation on a certain area of the hospital. Next year they'll be renovating another area. They're sending out new ambulances now. I mean, there's just so much support that's coming in from our foundation. And so those of you that support the Baxter Regional Medical Centers Foundation and our efforts, just know that is such a critical need for this community, and for people to continue to do so is amazing. We also obtain sponsorships, which is a great thing from not only our local businesses, they are participating and helping us provide this, and we have some national sponsorships as well. Our insulin companies, our insulin pump companies, they really get behind our educational efforts and really help us with that. So it's a great, I'm just a small part of a huge group of people that we really come together to take care of our diabetes patients.
Sounds like a team effort.
It is, all the way around. And I couldn't, thanks to you too for letting me come on and talk about these efforts, because without people knowing and knowing what we're doing and our media and our social media now being able to be involved in that is a great thing. So thanks for letting me come on and talk about it. And I'll just give a quick little plug. If anybody is interested who hasn't signed up yet for our World Diabetes Day program, whether it be for the daytime or the after-school program, either one, you can call us at 508-1765 and get your name on the list. And again, this is absolutely free. This is open to everyone, our diabetes patients and their family members as well, and we in fact encourage that. And we just want everybody to know that we are there and supporting diabetes. Monday, November 14th, World Diabetes Day.
November 14th. Mark your calendar. You'll want to be there. And I promise you, anything that Jodi puts on is a good time. You will thoroughly enjoy yourself.
We do have a lot of fun.
You will thoroughly enjoy yourself. Well, that's going to be it for Healthy Connections today. Jodi, thank you for coming on. And again, mark your calendar, November 14th. We'll see you at World Diabetes Day.